Now, this video was made in the intention of speaking to those of you that may be going through a challenge in your life right now, maybe a transitional period, or maybe you just feel like the world around you is seemingly chaotic. I hope by the end of this video you gain a little bit more clarity, a little bit more peace, a little bit more direction, and feel inspired and motivated to continue on this journey we call life. My name is Onye. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm grateful to have you here. So today I was reminded that the universe is invested in our happiness. That sentence really sat with me. The universe is invested in our happiness. Now, some of you may not use the term universe. You may use God, you may use Mother Nature, you may use Allah, you may use Jah. To me, all of these are labels of the same oneness, the same wholeness that we are a part of, that we are reflections of. And in that, whomever or whatever you believe in, replace universe with that is invested in your happiness. And when I heard that, when I was reminded that, it really spoke to my heart. No matter what, I'm okay. And when I say that, I invite you to think about your past, all the different experiences that you've been through. And now, where you are today, you clicked on this video, so you have a device. You maybe are sitting in a home or office or some place that you have a roof over your head. Maybe you've already had a meal or about to eat something. You have access to water. You have at least one person that loves you. And you think back to all the experiences that you've had and reflect on how they panned out. More than likely, you overcame that situation. More than likely, it all worked out. And sometimes we forget that. Sometimes we forget how literally the universe is invested in our happiness. The universe is always looking to support us. If we are connected, if we are a part of a greater whole, why wouldn't the whole want everything to be aligned, to be at peace, to be filled with love, to be filled with joy? And so that was a really deep reminder and concept that that is a natural order of the universe. In its vastness, in its interconnectedness, at the end of the day, everything is looking to support its pieces. So if we're thinking about a team, if you've played sports or if you've been in social gatherings or worked in a team, let's say for work, you're only as strong as your weakest link. And even for me, having a weakest link, it's how can we support the challenges that this team member is facing to help grow the whole, the collective, to help build and develop and nurture the whole. Because if one person isn't doing well, we're all not doing well. So if we bring the team aspect into the entire world, if parts of the world aren't doing well, we're all not doing well. And we see that in the world today. So if we take our time, if I take my time to work on my internal world with even my belief system and knowing that the universe is invested in my happiness, then that gives me space and a knowingness and peace and relief to know that everything will eventually work out. The word invested. When you invest in something, you're looking for that thing to thrive. You make an investment in a business, or into a relationship, or into your health. You're putting time, energy, resources towards that thing for it to benefit you in some way, to contribute to a whole in some way. You're investing. So if for me, when I heard that word, that sentence, the universe is invested in your happiness, as I mentioned, it gave me the sense of relief. Like, what? There is no space to worry. There is no space to be fearful. But this is our conditioning. This is what is deeply rooted within us. The more that we start to incorporate mindfulness, to learn about ourselves, to learn about the stories that we tell ourselves, the more that we can then reflect on and reprogram those thoughts, bringing us back to the concept, to the belief, the knowingness that God, universe, Jah, Allah, is invested in our happiness. Now, you may be watching this and saying, yeah, but this is what's going on right now, and I just don't know how I'm going to get through it. Or, damn, I just don't know where to go. Or I just have no motivation. We are human. We are in this physical form. We are doing the best that we can. We are doing the best that we know. We are doing the best that we are provided and given to move forward in this life. And some of us weren't provided or given the resources, or the knowledge, or the wisdom, or the experiences. But if we bring it back to the belief that the universe is invested in our happiness, we can sit back and allow. And now, for me, what does that mean? Allowing for my happiness to shine through. Which brings me to another conversation I was having, how we as humans, we don't even know what brings us happy. A lot of us, I'm saying us, we, this is generalities right now, are so addicted to pain, to our suffering, to trauma, that we don't even know, remember, realize what truly makes us happy. And this is even right now, this is something that I'm meditating on. What truly makes me happy? Consider everything going well. I don't have to do this or that, finances, home life, everything. What brings me joy? What truly brings me joy? Now, I've asked myself this, and I continue to ask myself this, because it varies. The answer varies. But at the root of who I am, God knows, the universe knows what truly brings me joy. Now, if the purpose of us being here, being in this lifetime, is to remember that we are a part of a whole, that we are a reflection, we are God in a piece of like a form, in this physical form. If we bring ourselves back to that, then this experience right now is taking the journey, going through the journey of remembering our joy, remembering our love, remembering we are love. And this experience is to experience joy. Now, at some point, we forgot that. At some point, there was a separation from that. But we're all reflections of each other, being constant reminders. And so I have so many beautiful people in my life to remind me about these simple truths, these simple messages that are so simply stated, but something for me to meditate on. The universe is invested in your happiness. So a few key points about this to reflect on is that doesn't mean sitting down and expecting everything to always work out. This is a journey. And within the journey, it's who you're becoming, what you're learning, what you're releasing, what you're experiencing, how you're sharing, how you're receiving. It's a journey of remembering and becoming all at the same time. So if you're constantly choosing to perceive your life in negative ways, if you're creating stories that are disempowering, if you are believing the worst things, because we are a reflection, a part of God, we have the creative powers for those things to come to fruition, for those experiences to happen in some way, shape, or form. And this is a reminder for myself, like whatever I choose to believe that will happen, will happen. If I'm creating the story of a business endeavor and these are the steps I believe I need to take, or this is the experience I believe will happen, or fill in the blank, then more than likely that is what will play out. I have imagined it. We have been given an imagination to create our reality. So what's being reflected out is a projection of what's happening here. And I'm sure if you clicked on this video, maybe you've heard these things either from my past videos or other videos on YouTube. And it took me a while to really grasp this concept. And it's still a practice today to remember these things. But when I say that society is addicted to suffering, it's as if when we do have a glimpse of joy, some people are just not used to it, become uncomfortable. They've reached their threshold and unintentionally, subconsciously self-sabotage themselves to go back to what they have been accustomed to. The book Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza, I read that book and I will go back to it, but the title is genius. Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. We have developed a habit of being a self that is disempowering, a self filled with fear, worry, negative energy. And so how do we break that pattern, that cycle, that way of thinking? How do we remember that the universe is invested in our happiness? How do we even find our happiness? These are all questions I'm inviting you to ask. I don't have the answers. This video was intended to give you a little bit more, to give you inspiration, motivation, a little bit more clarity, a sense of ease and peace, and remembering that you are part of a larger whole, and that whole is invested in your happiness. Now, your happiness may not involve the flashy cars, the jewelry, the expensive clothing. You may believe that's what's going to bring you happiness, but if we can look through the history of celebrities, a lot of them have committed suicide, gone through the route of drugs, and the worst case scenarios after receiving all the flashy cars, the money, the women or men, the experiences that they thought would bring them happiness, not realizing that that wasn't what brought them joy, what brought each individual person happiness. And so God already knows our hearts. Since we were born, we experienced joy and happiness. And then over time we forgot because the caregivers and all the people around us also forgot and projected onto us their projections of what they had received. And instead of being reminders of the light, we're reflecting the darkness. We are reflecting the darkness onto each other. And so one takeaway is spend some time with yourself. Spend some time learning about you. And that could be through walks. That could be through journaling. That could be through meditation. That could be just being in stillness without a label. Stillness. That could be having a conversation with someone that you trust and look up to or respect. Or that could be talking to a therapist, a coach, someone that is capable of listening. Someone that's capable of listening and reflecting back to you what you are sharing. So then you get to learn about yourself, learn about what it is that you tell yourself. And maybe you'll start to learn about your beliefs. Maybe you'll start to learn about your thought process, your ways of being. And then from there, you can make changes. You can make changes. But how can you fix a problem? Let's, for example, for my plants. How can I know what's going on with my plants without looking at the root? I can see that it has certain symptoms, right? And this may be a symptom of overwatering, not watering enough, not enough nutrients, the environment being not the space for it to thrive, right? And some of the symptoms can all boil down to one root problem that can be fixed as soon as I find out that root problem. Or I can just snip away the symptom, something that I'm noticing, and mask it until it finds another leaf to show me, to show itself that there's something going on. But our cells, our body, the plants, the world, the earth, it's all looking to correct itself. It's all looking to be at peace, at ease, in symbiosis. Now, if there are issues that come about, these are signs telling us something is happening within the being of this plant. Something is going on. Sometimes it could be, with many plants, the leaves fall, and that's just a part of growth. It's the shedding, it's the letting go, creating space for. But all of this one may not even be aware or privy to even seeing because they haven't spent time with themselves, learning, watching, observing, experiencing, noticing, noting down, and then making gradual changes day by day. And realizing, wow, I really have negativity constantly, either constantly complaining, constantly thinking about the worst case scenario. And then when those scenarios play out, you're like, see, I already know. I told you it would happen. I told you that's what always happens. But you're not a psychic. You cannot predict the future. You can create it though. And you've created it. That's why it's actually played out. You have served yourself with a version of life that you imagined. No one else but you. And you'll find that out in conversation, in your stillness. You'll find that out. And I believe that's one of the hardest things to see yourself, because we're surrounded by so many people that don't want to see themselves, that want to hide, that are scared, that would rather be the mask that they've worn for so long than revealing their true nature that they've hidden for so long. But the more you have positive thoughts, the more you have empowering thoughts, you will attract those experiences that will give you back those feelings of positivity, of empowerment, of self-love, of joy, of happiness. But what I've been learning, what I've been experiencing, is focusing on what it is that I do have, what it is that I did already attract into my life. Being grateful for the people I have, the experiences I've gone through, being grateful of the costume that I've been given, being grateful for the love that I have for myself, being grateful for the dedication and discipline, being grateful for all of the traumas that have been blessed onto me for me to experience, to then learn and grow from it and pick up tools that can support someone else that has gone through that trauma or maybe going through that trauma. To be a better mirror, a better reflector, a better reminder but spending time being more grateful, being more positive, being more loving, gentle, kind to myself and to those that are around me. Now that goes into personal responsibility. So now, with the belief that the universe is invested in your happiness, that also ties to your personal responsibility of taking action, of trusting and believing that that is what is true. It is still up to you to also invest in your own happiness, to also invest in your evolution by making positive choices, by being grateful, by changing and shifting your mindset towards more positivity. We are also called to do the work within ourselves, being in this physical form. And within this concept, it speaks that God is working behind the scenes to support you in reaching or achieving your highest potential, the highest version of yourself. Now, maybe you've never heard this before, but there are infinite versions of you. This version you see of me today, Onye, is a version that I have chosen. I have chosen and continued in the past, continue to think in this direction, continue to pull from the unlimited resources that we have for this version of me to manifest, to come to physical form, to be sitting here recording this video. There are desires that were put in me or that I pulled down to be goalposts, like this is what I'm looking to reach for. And in that journey, moving towards that direction, I'm becoming this person that is speaking to you now. I am doing the internal work as the universe is supporting and guiding me towards this. Now, is this the highest version of myself? No, not at all. Am I finding my pieces of joy, my glimpses of joy, of happiness, of love? Yes. Do I find myself at times reaching a certain threshold and then self-sabotaging in different areas of my life? Yes. And that's where it goes back into breaking the habit of being myself, being what I'm so used to, whatever space, and expanding a little bit more. And then allowing myself to be even more uncomfortable and expanding a little bit more. And gaining more discomfort and expanding a little bit more. And expanding to my fullest potential, my highest potential. It's an expansion. And even in that visual expansion, you need to release blockages to expand. If you were to blow a balloon and you had something blocking the balloon and blowing into it, it can't expand anymore. If it's constricted, it cannot expand to its highest potential. I have to remove the constrictions, remove the blocks. And so this journey is removing what has constricted us, what has kept us small, removing the fears, removing all of it, removing the thoughts that are keeping us small, so then we can expand, breathe more freely, receive the light, receive the sun, receive the air, receive all the elements, and trust that we are all divinely guided and supported. Now, there may be some of you that are watching this that have your own personal criticisms. The voice in your head, like, what is she talking about? Or if this only works for certain people, it doesn't work for me. But wherever you are in life, whatever age, it's never too late to change. It's never too late to break the habit of being yourself. It may be more challenging because you've been yourself longer than before. So someone that is in their 60s or 70s versus someone that is, let's say, in their teens, in their 20s, they haven't been in this life as long. They haven't been consistently making those choices, having those thoughts, creating imagining and projecting out into the world that version of themselves. You may have been doing it, whoever is, if it's someone that in their 60s or 70s, they have been doing it for a longer amount of time. They've had more practice. But it doesn't mean that it's not possible. And so whatever is going on in your life, I want to offer you this, that you are not alone. You just may be so clouded. The cloud is over the head, is all around you. The storm, you're in the eye of the storm where you cannot see a person in sight. There is so much chaos, so much movement, you cannot even breathe. But allow yourself to sit in stillness. Ask yourself certain questions. Ask for guidance and know that you are not alone. Remember that you have created this experience that you're having right now. Now, if you're looking to become a version of yourself that you've never seen, there may be some uphill battles that you go through to see if you are ready, to see if you believe in yourself. It's really all boils down to belief, and that is what I'm constantly being reminded. That is our beliefs. So for me, if I have this vision of owning multiple wellness hospitality spaces, let's say wellness hotels or wellness retreat centers, if I have this vision for that, if I have this vision of being a mother, if I have this vision of, having a healed relationship with all persons in my immediate family or in my extended family, if I'm looking to be a billionaire, all of these, there's a version of me that has that is that person, that experiences that. But this me, in this body, has to believe that that version of me is also me and exists. So I may create in my mind that I need to go through these battles, these experiences, to learn and start to believe in myself a little bit more. Take another step forward. Or I can release all of that and just believe I am capable of anything. I'm capable of anything at any point in time, and knowing that I don't know anything. I don't know anything. From that slate, from that blank slate, the universe can continue to guide me. Knowing that even when I take the step where I don't see the ground, that I am not going to fall to my death off the cliff. I may injure myself here and there, but the default is the highest version of myself. The default is my happiness. Now, maybe I am still operating off of a fearful mind, and certain decisions that I'm making are rooted in that. And now, if we go back to the belief that the universe is invested in our happiness, not in our version of happiness, but what our true happiness actually is, then those things that we may be going for, those things that we may be forcing and trying to get and trying to make happen, are not actually moving towards the direction of our individual happiness, not the happiness that our parents want for us, not the version of happiness that our parents want from us or our partner wants, or whatever you have, whatever voice you have in your head, but your true nature, your true happiness. We actually may not even know, but the key is in the feeling. The key is in the breath and the presence. Trust that everything that you are experiencing is happening in your favor. Continue to focus, or start to focus, on the beauty and the love and the blessings that you have right now. Be appreciative and grateful for it, and believe that God is always, always, always guiding, supporting you, and in your corner, invested in your happiness. I hope this video served you well. I hope you feel a little bit more at ease, a little inspired, a little motivated. And I invite you just to take the next step, because that is what was invited for me before I created this video. Just take the next step. And if you don't know what that next step is, ask and you shall receive. Till next time, peace. Mwah.